Hello everybody, it's Carl and Erynn here, and we're going to do a little guitar backup work on an old Kentucky tune from the fiddler John Salyer. The name of the tune is Jack Wilson in the key of D. But John Salyer was renowned amongst fiddlers for a great repertoire and a great player. So we get Erynn to fiddle a little bit for us now in the key of D. It goes back and forth from G to A in the second part, which is a lot of fun for the guitar. We'll explore that as we go along here. Beautiful ending. Oh, it leaves you hanging a little bit there, which is that's a good thing. Yeah. Thank you, Erynn. Wonderful fiddling of Jack Wilson. So we'll
thank you.
Yep. Thank you. So I'll scoot over into the hot seat, so to speak, and let's just look at a couple of things we can do. Backing up a D tune, first of all. One of my favorites, as you may already know, is the old thumb hook. So in the first part, keeping it just to a D and an A chord for the start, and then you come up with a G and A at the end, and then that G and A becomes the whole fabric of the second part, which is kind of fun. We'll talk about some. So starting out there, let's just do a D chord and the fourth string, and I'm doing a pick strum style 4 and 5 a couple times, and then the third time around I think I'd maybe do that thumb hook just to keep that D shape and get your thumb on that second fret low and a strum, and then go to the A chord. And right there, I think I might do, not all the time, but a little bluesy walk. A lot of times you can do a regular walk right in the scale, or you can go from a finger note you already have, like here, that fourth string second fret. A bluesy walk's nice. So my first little plan I think I'm going to do is going from the D, 4 and 5 a few times, ba da ba ba ba. Then I do the thumb hook, ba ba A chord, 5 and the bluesy fourth string, ba ba do. And here it goes to a G, maybe a walk there. And you could even do a bluesy walk to A there. And a blues, I'm getting a little carried away. So let's just make that our first little plan. And just because you can walk doesn't mean you should walk or have to walk. So it's nice you can get a lift sometime, if you're going into town. But sometimes leaving things out is the best thing to do, and I'm still learning that lesson myself. So take that with a grain of salt. So here's the first part, just a basic idea, starting. And if you're going to do a little lead-in lick, the fiddler's doing the little lead-in, potatoes or whatever you want to call it, dun da da dun da da da. You could do a little on the fifth string, maybe a little what I call a traveling note. That's kind of a short walk. It's like in the part of a. Doing the whole top of the scale, I'd call that 5, 6, 7, and 8. Leave out some of that and just do the open fifth and the second fret and go into your D. So it'd be like dun dee da dun 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 dun. Traveling note 4 and 5. Couple of times. One more time. Thumb hook, A chord, and a bluesy walk back. We're gonna walk that G, open 2, 3. Then the A chord, maybe do a bluesy walk here, A, bluesy walk back to D. That's one time around. Then you do it again. 4 and 5 on D, thumb hook to the A, like a square dance. Bluesy walk on the fourth string. Walk that G, open 2, 3, and bluesy walk A. So that's the first part. The second time around, so we'd have a second ending. So when you're coming out of that G up to G, A, you stay on that A, it's going to go back to G. We can walk back or just do a, A. And it's kind of nice to not walk into the second part sometimes. I mean, it's nice just to if you're having trouble keeping up with parts, it's great to have a little delineation point there. So let's say let's do the first part, and I'll go into the G, A. And first time we'll just play the regular G and A shape, and we might talk about some options there, which is kind of fun. So the first part again with the traveling note. 1, 2, here we go. Thumb hook, A, bluesy walk, 4 string, D. Walk that G on the low string. Bluesy walk 5th, bluesy walk 4th, starting over. Thumb hook, A chord, bluesy walk 4th string. Gonna walk that G in the bass. This time we're gonna go to the second part, A chord back to G. It's still without walk. G, A, G, A. 3 times it does that. 4 actually when you get to, 4 times, and you're going to be back to that, maybe a long walk back to the first part. So you might want to do walking in there. So if we work walking from G to A, one great way to walk, if you did walk into the second part, you can do a nice bluesy walk up. You wouldn't want to do that every time, but that's a nice walk, a chromatic walk. Right? So I'm just doing I might like just to do a regular. Do it in there somewhere, and then you might do a long walk back. So some options there. Let's just think about the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th string. A really nice exercise you could do here is just think about 3-note chords, or what they call triads, and doing a G and A chord. Like the open 2nd, 3rd, and 4th string is a G chord. You could actually hit the low bass. Just use those for your strummers, right? Then you're going to have that same shape. It'd be a bar 2, 2, 2 on the same strings with the 5th string. And then what might be a nice effect, and we'll see if it sounds good or not, is keep a drone A bass. This would be another approach just for something to try. And let's go to our, it's like an F shape, but I'm on the 2nd, 3rd. It's the 2nd string, 3rd fret, 4th fret on the 3rd. It's just a double slant there, and you can hit, there's your G and here's your A. So then you're going to use the same shape for the G and A, right? Here we had straight, open, and then 2, 2, 2. Now you got the double slant on 3, 4, 5, and you go a whole step. G to A is a whole step, 2 frets. And the next shape's going to be based on a D shape. If you played a regular D shape on the first 3 strings, just scooted it down from D, 4th fret's E, 5th fret would be a half step to F, G would be here. But I'm going to put that note on the same, put that 1st string note in the bass. It's going to look like this. What I call, you got a droney sound there. Your shape there, fret-wise, you got 2nd fret, 8th fret, 2nd string, 8th fret, 3rd string, 7, and then you got 9 on the 4th string. And again, that's the G. And you go a whole step down toward the body. So let's just listen to what those sounds like. You wouldn't want to do that too much, but if you wanted to try a different approach, that would be a really good way to learn your guitar. And it might not be what you want to do on Jack Wilson, but I think it's fun to use that as a launching pad to just know your guitar better. So open, open, open. Focusing on the 4, 3, and 2 string set, and then you hit the 5th string for the bass, and then you got 2, 2, 2, the same shape. And think about where the G and A notes are. That's on the 3rd string, right? So your 3rd string is the root of that. So 3rd string's your G, and then 3rd string's your A. Now we put the G's going to be on the 4th string, the double slant. You got what, 5, 4, and 3, and I'm gonna keep that droney A bass. Almost goes Celtic sound a little bit there. And then you scoot it a whole step. It's going to be 7, 6, 5. Cool. Then you're going to slide down to 9, 7, and then you put the, what happens there, you got, we have 3 notes. This is a really good thing to know if you hadn't thought about it. If you have what they call a triad, a 3-note chord on 3 strings, and we're thinking adjacent strings, it doesn't have to be, I guess, but you're going to have 3 different ways to do that, 3 different orders. And so the root's going to be, one I'm going to be in the bass string, so to speak, and one will be in the middle string, and one will be on the top. So that's what we're doing. The open shape has it in the middle, so to speak. Right? And this one has it in the bass. And you hear the same note, right? The tuning checkpoint. And then here it has it on the 2nd string. Right? And then, of course, back to D, you could end up with an F shape up here. So let's just try that for fun. And again, I think we'd probably go back to more regular fare for backing up a fiddler usually, because they would probably think you're getting a little off the the launching pad a little too far maybe. But it depends on how the fiddler plays. If they play they take off on a little abstract tangent, you might could do that and it'd be beautiful. But anyway, here's the second part. Let's do it one time, the regular part on the first, and I'll do that on the second. We'll see how that sounds. But I'm coming out of that A to get to D, so it'd be that, da, da. So we got to do it 4 times, right? So then we might want to go back to the low one. So we'll have it 4 times around, so we'll just go back to the open and see if that works. So 1, 2, 3, we'll see. Dun, 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 the first part. Thumb hook. Bluesy walk. Walk to G, low string. Bluesy 5 and bluesy 4. Repeat the first part. Kind of exciting. See what happens. A chord, bluesy walk. Walk to G. And the A chords. Now the open. Slant, slant. Back to open. So it's kind of a pretty good diversion, right? Experiment with different things. We'll do something regular this time. Maybe a little bluesy walk. So what you might want to do, this just get you your brain matter stirred up there, and you can think about, well, okay, if that sounds so good on the second, third, and fourth string, you could do it on the first 3 strings with different shapes. I'll leave that to you to explore a little bit, because it's nice if you kind of find them yourself, listen, and say, oh, where's my, when I play a D chord, is that, where's the D note? Which string is it on? You're focusing on the first, second, third string, and you call that string sets, if you hadn't thought about that. And you have, on a guitar, just one last little tidbit, you have 6 individual strings. You got 2 groups of 5, and you've got 3 groups of 4, 4 groups of 3. Is that right? 1, 2, 3, yeah, 4. So and so on. So experiment, and then you can also do, that's called adjacent string sets. You can split them up. So a lot of things you can do, and finger picking sometimes is easier for certain, combinations of strings. But anyway, Jack Wilson. So just trying that. Let's just look one last thing. When you're doing that. Another thing you might do when you go back to the D, the first part, you could just stretch that, get that major middle note. And let's just wind up a little exercise there. Let's just try the little D chord and not even thinking about the tune as much, just how the key of D works on the guitar might be a nice thing when you're playing a tune or wanting to just warm up and try some different things. Warm up before you go into a jam or something, and they're going to play in D a lot. Do what I call just a chord looping exercise. So we'll just go from D to G to A as a little exercise to wind up with there. And I think you'll find that's helpful. So I'm just doing a D chord and a thumb hook, and I'll do the G chord, 6 and then 5, then the A. I'm borrowing first finger and reach up to that 4th fret, get that nice. And then there, I guess to come back around, we might want to do let's see, you can do a little thumb glide, do 3 strings in a cascade. Let's see how we want to get back around. So that, why don't we do an A chord again as a little turnaround. So here's my little chord loop there. You might as well start with a little traveling note. Thumb hook, G chord, 5th string, A, and you reach up with that 4th fret, 5th string, and I'm going to throw another A in there, starting over. Try to think about your string sets a little bit, and just different ways to go from G to A. But also remember, it's just great to know where the root or the name of your chord is each time, and hit a good strong bass and a good solid strum for that fiddler. So Jack Wilson, I think you'll enjoy it. And listen to John Salyer there on Slippery Hill or one of those sites. You can find that. And he was a great fiddler, really evocative. He really played beautiful stuff. So enjoy your guitar back up, and we'll see you again soon. Thanks.